Hello and welcome to the Barn Quilt program. What you're looking at is an example that I've recently completed from my hen and rooster pattern, and it's going to be on our barn quilt trail in the near future to replace one that was originally on there by request. This is also a commission piece, but I wanted to utilize it as an opportunity to offer tips and resources on how to design your own barn quilt to anyone in the future who decides to take one of my workshops, or if you decide to do this at home. This particular pattern has 7 colors in the color scheme and range from a very light cream color for the background to a golden yellow. I also have some various earth tones in there, such as sienna and terracotta and a dull brown. And I also have a turquoise in there to represent the particular breed of chicken that this is, which is Bainty. The turquoise is more prominent in roosters in that regard. I also have an antique red that is seen in the stars as well as the crown of the chickens and also in the border. And this is water-based paint on plywood, which is untreated so that it absorbs the paint. You can use any kind of water-based paint that is comfortable for you. You can use standard acrylics or even house paints if you have the budget for that. Either one works just as fine. The most important thing to remember is that if this is for exterior use, if you're going to be hanging this somewhere, whether it's on a barn or another structure, you obviously need to seal it with a good protective finish. I used an oil-based polyurethane and have 3 coats of that on the front and the back. So just keep that in mind. Going back to the beginning, once I cut out the size of board that I wanted, which in this case is 4 feet by 4 feet, I put 3 coats of water-based primer on both the front and the back before I began the design work. And to create the design, I put a grid on it, and I have instructions on how to design a grid as well as how to lay out the pattern. So if you're interested in that, you can keep that in mind. And again, the size of this is 4 feet by 4 feet. But in the instructions, I have given the option of either doing a 2 foot by 2 foot pattern in addition to the 4 foot by 4 foot option. So in regard to the barn quilt, that's what you're looking at. Whenever you're mounting this onto a barn, I highly recommend that you either create or invest in some kind of mount to attach it to. This is one that I've created that is just made from 2x4 lumber. It's very simple. The reason why I strongly encourage mounts is because if you just mount a barn quilt onto the wall of a barn, like many people do, as the wall of the barn weathers over time, it eventually warps. And if it's, with that being the case, the barn quilt design will warp along with it. So this will just keep your barn quilt protected more over time. It will increase the lifespan of it. And I also have instructions on how to design your own mount. So you can also keep that in mind. So with that said, I'll go ahead and also mention that I did seal the mount as well. I put 3 coats of shellac on all areas of it. You can also paint your mount if that is your choice, or you can put an oil-based stain on it, anything that protects it. So, and in regard to the barn quilt, getting back to that, these are colors of my choice, but you can be as creative as you like with the design and choose any color that you would like. So with that said, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you have a good day, and we'll see you another time.